As of today, Ark Survival Ascended is officially 1 year old. But after Ark's biggest, most content-filled year yet, I ask myself one question. Is the game still worth playing? In this video, I'm going to be conducting a deep dive into everything we've received since Ark Survival Ascended's release, and pairing it with what we've had on ASE to see if our beloved dinosaur game still has potential. But quickly before this video starts, I'm sorry for going on a long hiatus. I've been studying at university for the last 6 months and I haven't arranged any time for really playing video games and making videos at all. So if you like this content, make sure to subscribe, as I want to bring this channel to more light-hearted topics regarding Ark. Anyways, let's get into the video. Starting all the way back to October 25th of last year, Ark Survival Ascended was finally released after all the drama, false promises, and borderline predatory pricing arrangements, which I've made 2 extensive videos covering, so go check them out. Although it was an extremely rough start for ASA, just about 2 months after the game's actual launch was the time I'd say was actually playable across all platforms. However, these 2 months would prove to be quite concerning, as we were all kind of wrapping up our island playthroughs, and Wildcard did promise us some other maps around about now. During these times, we received a bunch of nothing burger community crunches showing off concept art for things we didn't or still haven't gotten to see for quite some time yet, until we finally got our first big update to ASA, the Turkey Trial event. We didn't actually receive anything until early February, except for a particular upcoming creature called the Oasisaur, which as stated in the crunch was to be a paid DLC creature, meaning you wouldn't be able to tame this thing without slinging another paycheck to Wildcard. And even worse, it was rumored to possess the ability to revive dead tames, which is something that has been physically unachievable in base Ark and sounded quite scary moving forward. However, only time would tell if this was a good idea or not. Fast forward over the new year, we didn't receive any more news apart from Winter and Valentine's events. But finally, we received the Gigantoraptor, which was meant to originally have a release alongside the beloved map Ragnarok, which we still have yet to see, but then was pushed onto the center. However, that map got delayed until further notice, which was a big kick in the face as they announced the map would release sometime in May. However, they couldn't because the team apparently making the map wasn't finished yet. Nonetheless, the Gigantoraptor on the island was a pretty cool and unique tame, requiring you to distract it by dropping an egg away from its nest while you run inside and proceed to play Dance Dance Revolution with its babies. Once it becomes fully grown, it's actually a pretty decent and powerful creature, offering similar abilities such as the Maywing, being able to store baby dinos on its pouch while you mow down neighboring creatures. Furthermore, February was quite the time for Ark Controversy, as our beloved Monopoly server hosting platform Nitrado decided it was about time they remove all Spanish content creators from their program, which was quite impactful to the Ark community, as there are more than a dozen rather famous Spanish Ark YouTubers and streamers who would love to have benefited from Nitrado's complete and total reign over all Ark servers. All they provided was this short email basically saying, sorry, you're Spanish, see ya. Can't say we didn't see this coming. And in the same week, CurseForge also decided to cancel their big mod production studio thing that they hyped up for the last 2 months, instead saying that they're going to focus on other user-generated content. I don't really know what they mean by this, but there's already paid mods inside of Ark, but this was also a thing. And that was pretty much it for early 2024, until March 16th, when we got our first glimpse at Bob's Tall Tales, which was the previously teased DLC pack we were all anxiously waiting for, and it actually looked pretty interesting, giving us the impression that we were going to be given a selection of new items for every map re-release. However, a few days after this announcement on the 21st of March, after a few leaks came out from Paramount Plus days prior, we received the highly anticipated Ark the Animated Series. Well, actually, America received the Ark Animated Series. I had to wait till April because Paramount Plus doesn't allow VPNs, which despite a few controversies and the fact that this show received literally no advertising, no marketing, and featured A-grade celebrities in it such as Carl Urban and Vin Diesel, the show was actually pretty good. Though I feel as if it had a bit of an identity crisis, however, as the show had certain scenes with blood and gore in it which were pretty fun to watch, while at the same time it was written like it was for Cartoon Network. But let me know if you guys want a deep dive video on this, because there's actually a few things to discuss here. And later, on the 2nd of April, we finally received the second ever ASA map update in all its glory, featuring the awesome realistic sandy dunes of Scorched Earth, 2 brand new tames, and even a train. Some of these do warrant the purchase of the Tall Tales DLC, however the backlash behind it didn't warrant as much hate as I was expecting. Most of the items were purely cosmetic and offered more fun than advantage, and the Oasisaur was fairly well balanced in my opinion. Fast forward to June and we were graced with Ark's first ever community map, The Center, featuring brand new structures, mesh holes, the community voted Chassosaurus that we've all been waiting for, and oh my goodness! So it turns out not only will Ark's next 3 DLC maps feature paid content, but also the community maps. You just can't believe it. Not only that, but this so-called Pyromane just happened to be one of the most broken creatures ever released to Ark. I mean, this thing was like a text strider for ASA. It could quite literally do anything you wanted it to, with so many passive abilities I'm not even going to begin to describe them. So now I guess we're getting DLC creatures to community maps. Yay. The backlash behind this was justified, however. About a week or so after, however, we got news of ARK's first ever collaboration, Power Rangers. Yes, this one was quite strange, but I'm gonna be brutally honest with you guys, this was actually dope as f. Also, they say TikTok is polluting the youth, but like, bro, what the f is this? We literally watched this as kids. This is literally brain rot. And I don't even care if ARK turns into Fortnite. I just need to see a Land Before Time collaboration. But just when you thought it couldn't get any weirder, on the same week, ARK also added a Club Penguin styled arcade to the game, which was kind of like the Hypixel of ARK, but instead you got to purchase items and transfer them into other servers, which is kind of crazy. Look, I get what they were trying to do here, but I swear we should be beyond arcade games now. Genesis changed me as a human. And finally, on September 6th, we received our latest and greatest DLC map, Aberration. This was one of the most highly anticipated maps due to the sole reason that the map, even on ASE, looked amazing. So we could only imagine how fantastic it would look reimagined to ASA. And did it look as good as we hoped for? Drumroll, please. It was alright. I said it once and I'll say it again. Aberration looked amazing even on ASE, and I'd be lying if I said we weren't amazed. The map did look amazing, especially on Unreal 5. However, it seemed like it should have stood out a lot more. I am huffing on copious amounts of copium though, because I'm not upset with the map in any way, as I believe they delivered on our expectations for Aberration perfectly. Well, almost perfectly, because for some reason these fucking cretins were roaming around all over the place. And for someone to notice them as an eyesore, especially from their main spawn in the literal biome based on the polar opposite color on the spectrum, these things had no right being here, or at the very least this goddamn many of them. But their spawns were nerfed shortly after, so it's okay. In other news, the Tall Tales DLC delivered once again with various unexpected but rather cool items to play around with, including this thing, which can essentially extract the genes from any creature and place it onto your own, removing the need for things like imprinting and whatnot. However, this item can actually be somewhat used by people without the DLC. It's just a bit of extra process to go through, which was kind of broken considering the headache that every player who hasn't bought this DLC has to go through still to get any sort of good tames in this game. Oh, and also Blitzcrank's in the game. And at last, a few weeks ago, we got our first look at Extinction Ascended, which is set to release on December 16th alongside the Wasteland War Bob's Tall Tales pack, which is the last one, I think. Just wanted to pause the video right here and say that as of recording this video, there's actually been a Snail Games update regarding their plummet in the stock market reaching below $1, which means that there hasn't been enough investment in their stocks for the last 6 months, meaning that their company would essentially have to shut down along with ARK. However, as of October 16th, their stocks drastically rose out of nowhere. They didn't release or announce any new games or make any drastic business changes, so who knows how they would have done this. And that's pretty much it for this year. And despite all the controversy, I'd say 2024 has been one of the best years in ARK's history. But why hasn't the player base moved over yet? I mean, we already have almost half of ARK's best maps ported over, so why do people still continue to play ASE? The short answer is, at the moment, ASE is still better. But the long answer is, most people can't afford to play ASA. I'd go as far as saying minimum, you need a 4070 to run this game on anything but low settings. And now, especially that the 40 series cards are being brought off the market, the game is just so hard to actually gain a player base at the moment. My PC has basically ran every game under the sun for the last 4 years that I've owned a 3070, but when it comes to ASA is when it starts to struggle. So unless you have $3,000 on top of all of ARK Ascended's DLCs, we might be waiting another year for most players to move over. But anyways, what are your thoughts on the first year of ARK Ascended? Do you think we'll have another year filled with content, or is the hype slowly going to die down? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching.